Okay, we're live.
All right, great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. This marks the beginning of the pre-meeting for the November 18th, 2021 Zoning Board of Appeals hearing for the City of Rochester. During the pre-meeting, board members go over each of the cases listed on the agenda with staff and ask any last-minute questions of staff at that time. There's no participation by members of the public or by applicants. So with that being said, I'm going to run down all the cases for site visits first, and then we'll get started with questions. Case number 1, 780 Dewey Avenue. Any of the board members present not visit the site? Case number 2 is 52 Harlem Street. This was held from the agenda last month, not from the hearing. This case was not heard last month, so anybody that was not here, there's nothing to listen to. It was put on the agenda and then removed by the applicant because he had a family emergency. So any board members on the call not visit 52 Harlem? Case number 3, 181 Kirkland Road. Any board members present not visit the site? Case number 4 was removed from tonight at the request of the applicant, which was Katy Street. Case number 5 is 100 Atlantic Avenue. Any board members not visit the site? Case number 6, 1400 Mount Hope Ave. Any board members not visit the site? Case number 7, 169 South Union Street. Any board members not visit the site? Case number 8 is 235 North Winton Road. Any board members not visit the site?
I did not visit that site.
And last case is 965, 969 Monroe Avenue. Anybody not visit the site? Okay, very good. You all watch me try to untangle my headphones. Okay, case number 1, I can see it on the video. Case number 1 is 780 Dewey Avenue. David and Matt, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I will get you linked up with that if there is time. This was a case that came before the board last month for the change out of signs, both on the canopy as well as the detached sign. Included in the staff report this month is revisions to what the board had requested. Are there any questions on this one? Okay, case number 2 is 52 Harlem Street. As I noted just a minute ago, this case was not actually heard at the last hearing. The applicant had requested that it be removed from the agenda. So this is a situation where there is a carriage house located at the far rear of the parcel, currently used as off-street parking spaces and some kind of accessory storage, I would presume. So the applicant is seeking to establish use of the rear structure as a single family residence. And when you do that, it would have to meet certain bulk requirements, in this case, like location on the site, and it being at the far rear of the parcel, it, of course, does not meet that. So that details in the code compliance section of the staff report. Any questions on Harlem Street?
Matt, is that proposed to be a rental or is he selling it as a single family home?
It's proposed to remain on the same parcel, so it wouldn't be subdivided to like own off as a separate parcel. So it would be on the same parcel as the front structure.
Okay, and it was built with the house originally?
Yeah, the permit records indicate that it was there originally, correct?
Thank you.
Case number 3 is a return case. This was a case from last month where the applicant was seeking to do a driveway that terminated in the side yard. The board had made the request that the option be explored to take a peek at the side property or the property next door. Included in the staff report is information from the developer of that project, Urban League, that's doing the L2P project, which details some of the finances tied to the exact parcel size. Interestingly, this is something that comes up when properties go into foreclosure that had land combined with them after the sale of the property. It becomes subdivided again because the bank only puts the mortgage on the parcel from the original sale. So kind of a similar situation here. Any questions on this one?
Just to clarify, so the only change that the applicant made was the length of the driveway, right?
The applicant didn't make any changes to the length. Well, I clarified at the last hearing, the length.
Okay.
It's not actually 35, it's 27. So no changes to the proposal, just the additional information that the board
Okay,
requested.
thank you.
Case number, any other questions on that one? Sorry, guys. Case number 4 is not being heard tonight, as I indicated. The applicant requested it be removed. I don't have any written comment or anyone signed up to speak, so I don't think we need to do anything for the actual hearing component.
Hey, Matt, quick question for you.
Yes.
Going back to what is it, Kirkwood?
Kirkland Road.
Kirkland.
Kirkland Road.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy, and I saw the email, I read the email chain that you provided. Thank you for that. And this is just and I know you didn't get this far, and this may not be appropriate for your role. They have a site plan they went in to get approved. I mean, couldn't they technically build another driveway on it?
Oh, you mean
Bada
the
boom, bada
actual,
bang, have
like
her
the
use it? Yeah, the
the
owner of that property.
so they would have to do, yeah, they would have to, I guess technically they could.
Yeah, that's what I
Does-
mean. You know, bada boom, bada bang. 15 years, and she could get it.
It sounds so easy, right? I think
It
the answer
does.
to the,
I know the answer to it, but I just wanted
Yeah.
to, I
No,
like
no,
to
it's-
exhaust all.
it's a good question. It's a good question. I think part of that story though is the house is, I don't think the house is actually leased up at this point, but once it is, the person who's living there will be given control over it. So they wouldn't have a say if the developer had already put a second driveway on there.
After 15 years,
15
the
years.
leasing. After 15, right
For
now,
ownership, yeah.
Urban League is gonna, or whatever company is running this, is gonna have it for 15 years. But totally understand. Just wanted to just wanted to kind of
Yeah, talk
make
about
sure
it.
that
No.
we talked about it. But sorry, go right ahead.
No, that's a good question. So as I said, Katy Street, nothing. And then case number 5 is 100 Atlantic Ave. This is the attempt to legalize a project that was already started for a driveway, which goes into the rear yard of the property, but the parcel size puts this into a lot coverage variance. Any questions on this one?
So I just wanted to make sure I was looking at, so what they've already started is part of what they want, like how big,
Correct.
how big the part is that they already have started?
So it's my understanding, you can clarify with the applicant, but what you saw out there is the layout of the driveway. Like it got far enough along that it's not surfaced, I don't think. I think it's still gravel. But it would be surfaced in its current form.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. Case number 6 is 1400 Mount Hope. This is a restaurant which has blocked out a series of windows, added signage, et cetera, et cetera. Any questions on this one? All right, case number 7.
Does the Matt?
Go ahead.
So I saw a few businesses in College Town that had easel signs outside. So are those easel signs that are, for example, out on the sidewalk, are those permitted?
They're a DES question. So it's not zoning because it's not private property. I do not know if DES has a permitting process to legalize those.
Okay.
But yes, I know just what you're talking about, those like A-frame signs that are all over.
Yeah.
I know there was talk several years ago about process to legalize. I don't know whatever became of that.
Okay.
Case number 7, 169 South Union Street. This is a triangular shaped parcel that has portion parking lot, portion hedgerow right now. Applicant is seeking to construct 3 single-family attached dwellings, otherwise known as townhomes, which is a permitted use as of right in the district. There are several sections of code the applicant is seeking relief from, mostly related to front yard, side yard, rear yard, as well as 1 lot coverage. And then the off-street parking. I want to touch on the off-street parking for a moment. I know it's mentioned the property owner / applicant owns the neighboring property and can provide off-street parking. This is not an alternative parking plan. He doesn't have to provide that. This is a variance. So the application becomes, the argument is that he doesn't feel that he needs the parking. There's no need to build the parking. There are other avenues by which to eliminate not building parking, but a series of variances were also needed. So when variances are also needed, we include the variances. We include that variance in with it. But I do know it mentions owning the neighboring property. But the gist of the application is just that he's not building any. There was a significant amount of feedback for this one as well. Any questions on 169 South Union? Okay, case number 8 is a property that's been to the zoning board a lot recently for signage and the usage. 235 North Winton, there's a shell of a building for Well Now Urgent Care. They are seeking to install 3 signs, 4 variances total. The signs are too big, 2 frontages don't have rights to a sign, and the internally lit is not permitted in the district. The C1 district is the lowest intense commercial district. It's intended to have small scale uses, not internally lit box style signs, more exterior lit, less intense style signs. So that's the reason for the variance here. Any questions on this one? This also had several letters of feedback.
Matt,
Mhm.
by this being here, is there any special consideration this year?
Because of the use?
Yes.
No, I mean, I know the applicant made reference to just what you're describing, the fact that it's, an urgent care use, but there's no real, this board has reviewed signage for other hospital type uses, much more emergency oriented than urgent care, I think. So it's not subject to any special treatment because of the use. With that in mind, the board can always do lesser relief, which is, somewhere between what the code allows and what they asked for. So if you're inclined to say, okay, well, because of the use, we should give them a little more than the code allows, but maybe not necessarily, you could make that argument. But there's no real special consideration for the use that makes them have to have that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a
Was
good
that
question.
was all the signage on the well care? Was all of the signage that they're proposing tonight, was all that shown on the variance for the site that we had a few months ago?
I believe some of it was both Well Now and I believe the Starbucks. Actually, I think all 3 buildings, even if it just said retail signage. We made clear during that, as you all know, that the signage is not part of it. The way it seems to be working based on my dealings with a series of applicants is because some of the tenants are corporate, everything is being contracted out separately. So we said, well, it would make sense for you to do all of your signs at one time, but of course that's not how things are actually being hired out. So it was made very.
I would say, from my experience, that's like when we go in developments, typically the individual business does it. They would never do it together. So that makes sense.
Sure.
I was just, my only opinion is like the community, and we sort of already saw it conceptually. So that wouldn't make me too like, no, because we sort of, I know we didn't vote on it, but we saw it conceptually already. I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah,
But
I think some
certainly
of
get
it
what
was,
they have. Yeah, I didn't know if it was something that they're showing tonight that wasn't on all the concepts we saw for the overall project.
Yeah, and I don't know if sizes were on there. It's a good question. I don't know if they were to scale or whatever, but the concept itself, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then the last case is 965, 969 Monroe Ave. A couple of you actually may have remembered this from a few years ago when it came to the zoning board for the exact same request. But as you all know, a variance becomes void if the owner does not actually act on the variance by getting a building permit within a year. So the reason this is here actually is not because of the number of dwelling units, it's because of the fact that there's no commercial component. So the structure itself is located in a commercial district, that low intensity commercial district. The intent is to have some sort of mixed use, to bring some sort of retail sales and service to the neighboring area. The fact that they're not including a commercial use is the reason they're here, that it's strictly multifamily. Structure itself is of course residential, as you all saw from your site visits, but they're looking to do strictly residential in the property. Any questions on this one?
Yes, so Matt, I do have a question. When I read through the report, I think we gave the board, I can't remember if I was there or not, gave less relief, and I think it was only a studio allowed on the third floor. Now they're proposing an extra unit. Do I understand that correctly?
Let me pull it up. Hold on. Yeah, you're correct about the condition from several years ago. It says third floor, 1 studio unit. But let me pull it up.
Yeah, because it said first floor, 2 1-bedrooms, second floor, 2 1-bedrooms, third floor, 1 studio.
So the third floor. Oh, go ahead.
Can only occupy the front portion of the building. That was the board's determination in 2015.
So are they not coming back for the same thing? I thought that's how I read it.
I thought it was the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I don't know.
I thought it was, and I actually thought these drawings were updated from the originals.
That could be nice.
No, Joe, I think I thought it was the exact same thing. Let's clarify with the applicant. The third floor plan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that front end, the front end of the building, they're calling a study room, which let's
Oh, that kind of threw you. Yeah.
It's a bedroom.
Because yeah, I read it as they were just coming back for the same thing, and it seems like they're not asking for any. Seems like they would be okay with the, they didn't ask for a change with the condition that the board approved in 2015 with some of the green space being restored or returned if it was ever green space.
No, I think they wanted the exact same approval on condition, actually.
Yeah.
You can check with them.
Yeah. Okay.
And then a couple of comments on that one as well at the end. Okay, awesome, very good. Tyrese, we did the site visits right before you jumped on. Any of the cases tonight you did not visit?
Do we?
Just do it, okay. Thank you, sir. And I am going to, so this will conclude the pre-meeting if there's no other business. Everyone can stay right. Yeah.
Just one last thing. I noticed when I drove around, like the first 3 cases, I did not visit today. I visited them last month. Okay, so I was familiar with the sites. Even Kirkland, I ended up visiting that last month. But the ones that I did visit today, 5 through 9, 3 of those, none of them had signs up.
Can you tell me which ones they were?
Atlantic Ave.
Okay.
North Winton. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I corrected myself. Was those 2. South Union Streets was laying on the ground though. So that was, they did attempt to have it up. It looks like it got laying on the ground. But,
yeah. And I think one of the public comments was they didn't have the sign up, but yeah, when I went out the other day, the sign it just wasn't in the ground good enough on Union. But the ones Joe mentioned when I went 2 days ago didn't have signs up either.
Okay, so all applicants this go around were informed that if the sign was not posted, they run the risk of the board holding it. It was made very clear to them. So I would definitely address that during the hearing. I just wanted to know for my own benefit as well, just for my notes. So certainly.
Which one was it again? It was Atlantic. It was Atlantic because I went to Atlantic one day, and the other one was
North Winton.
What was?
North Winton.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, no.
I think the North Winton one was up when I saw it last week.
Was it like I
was going to say it could have been because the building's under construction. It
Yeah,
looks like it was just recently sheathed, so maybe they had it posted on the wall and they took it down to put the exterior
Yeah.
sheathing on. So, but we should just ask.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Holly.
All right, thank you all. Everybody can stay right on this stream. We're gonna turn our videos and sound off. We'll come back at 6 p.m. Matt and David, I'm gonna send you